Bella. Bella. What's up, Pastor Ron? How you doing, brother? How you doing? How you doing, brother? I pray that all is well. You were on my heart earlier this morning. You were most definitely on my heart earlier this morning, brother. I'm hanging in there. I am hanging in there. I'm gonna just say that I'm hanging on in there, still fighting the good fight of faith. I had not planned to broadcast. I had to literally work myself up to just even want to do a broadcast. It has been one of those seasons. It ain't even just been a day. One of those seasons. I don't know if you guys have ever like felt, you know, like I guess within the confines of a season, like you doing all that you can, and no matter what you do, no matter how much you obey God, things just keep happening. Like that has been um the story of my life, like in this season. And so I had got to a point where amen, brother, I'd gotten to a point today where I'm sure that everybody has been at this point where you just like, God, you know what, I'm about to just throw in the towel. I'm about to just let this be what it is, because I literally cannot take any more. Like that was me earlier today. I almost didn't work out, but I worked out, been on my diet plan. And so I finally got to a place where I felt, hey Visha, where I actually felt like talking, because sometimes things happen that just really make you just you have to like gather yourself. Like you have to just sit and compose yourself, compose your thoughts, and get back to a place of peace. As much as we try to stay at peace, as much as like we try to have joy, like we're human. Sometimes things get to us in such a way emotionally that like that time to yourself, that time where you just sit and reflect, like it is a necessity. And this is also why, like I always tell people, and I've always heard people tell me, like in the past, growing up, you never make a decision like out of extreme emotion. I'm gonna say that again. You never make a decision out of like extreme emotion. When you feel extreme emotion, you always have to take time to like let yourself get to a place of like, to let yourself get to a place of really just like a place of equilibrium where you are feeling balanced. And so that was kind of what I had to do this afternoon. Today has been pretty productive. Before I go any further, our declaration is just keep going. That is going to be our declaration on today, because I want to talk about it, because many of you guys feel the same way that like I feel. God, I'm trying my hardest to push forward. I'm at peace when I'm doing what you told me to do, but then I have those moments, right, where the enemy attacks or you get blindsided, and you get to a point where you know it's like, God, how many times am I have to pick myself up? Anybody ever felt that way? It's like, all right, God, I'm doing what you said do. But how many times am I going to have to like pick myself up? How many times are you going to let me get knocked down? How many, times are you going to let me have to like keep having to fight before you like just give me what it is that like you said belonged to me? And so I think many of us have felt that way. Some of y'all may feel that way right now. But today was really it was a balanced day for me. It was a day of peace. For the most part, my home is almost packed all the way up. It's probably maybe about 90% packed up. At this point, it's just small things and just cleaning. that I had to do. And so, I knew that, okay, God, I'm waiting on the bank. I'm waiting for them to like let me know what's what. And I just let that be it. I have not thought too much into it. I've just kept my mind on the things that like God needs me to do and just kept my mind focused on him and his voice, his instructions. And I think that in itself is a whole gem. Like while you're waiting, it's so tempting to like let your mind like get wrapped up in the thing that you're waiting for God to do. But like, it's an entirely different thing when you get to a point where you actually say, okay, God, I know it's nothing else I can do. So what would you have me do right now? And so like that has been the strategy that like I've been applying. Um, that's been the strategy that like I've been applying to like this housing thing. Like it's legitimately nothing that I can do. And so I knew that, okay, closing day is April 15th. My lease is up May 8th. So I still have to pack. I still had to clean. Like there is no going back. Like it's no going back. And so maybe around 1 p.m. I was kind of relaxing a little bit before the gym. And packing is tiresome. I don't care what nobody say. You never know how much stuff you have until like, you get ready to move. You never know how much stuff you have until like it's time to move, because over the years or however long you're at where you live, like you buy things, and it's crazy to think like, God, when I first moved here, I didn't have hardly nothing. I had a really small couch, I had a dining room table, and I had a bed, but I didn't have like any furniture. And so I took that time just to rest. And so sure enough, my realtor calls me. And so I'm thinking at this point, okay, this is about to be some good news. Like, okay, what is she calling me for? Like, I genuinely did not know. And so as usual, she's like, "How you doing?" I'm like, "I'm doing good." And she asked for an update. I said, "Well, right now I'm waiting on the banker. I'm waiting on her to let me know. I'm waiting on them pretty much. I made a mistake on my tax return, sent them the amended tax return, even threw in the option of using my mother as a cosigner. So I'm waiting." I said, "But what I can do, I can call her." And so she tells me, she says, "Well, I called her. I called the banker." She said, "The seller called me, the contractor called me. I guess he wanted to know, can he start building the fence?" So at this point, I'm already feeling pressure, right? And she says, "Well, I talked to her earlier today, and she said that, something about not enough income, something about, because they've already seen like the uncorrected tax return, that the underwriter cannot unsee it or something like that." I'm like, "What do you mean? If the IRS has accepted this, what do you mean like you can't accept my amended tax return?" It made no sense to me. I'm like, people make mistakes all the time. And so I just pretty much told her, "Listen, it's been a rough year for me." Like, so when I did those taxes, my TurboTax didn't transfer all of everything like I thought it did, right? So she says, "Well, I have a few other options because I'm always thinking about how can we move forward." She gave me like two options. At this point, y'all, I could not breathe. I could not breathe. And so I'm like, let me just call the bank. Let me just talk to her. And so I called the banker, and she had to call me back. She didn't answer. She called me back maybe like 5 minutes later. And I asked her, I said, "Hey, how you doing?" She said, "Miss Brady, I'm stressed out. I'm stressed out because I know that you make the money, and I'm trying to do my best to help you." And I just told her, "Don't be stressed." She said, "I'm really stressed because I know that you make the money to afford what you're trying to get." And where she was coming from, like I really understood it. But to hear a banker say like, "I'm stressed out because I know you make this money, I know that," she gives me some options, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not paying a higher down payment. I'm not doing that. I have down payment assistance. I'm not." No, these options are a no-go. They're no-go. They're easier, but it's a no-go, because I'm not paying more than what I would be paying with you guys, right? You guys covered the majority of my down payment. And so um, she's pretty much, what she told me was similar but a little bit different. She pretty much said basically, whenever we try to look at the amended tax return, right? it says page not found, meaning there's a glitch in the system, or it has not yet posted to like the IRS account, right? So it was drastically different than how the realtor made it seem, right? And so at this point, I'm just like, well, you keep doing what you're doing, and I'm gonna go ahead and start the process with another lender. My realtor's like, it's not uncommon. It happened to me. It happens all the time. And so I tried to go with another lender. I'm still waiting to hear back from one lender. And so where it got really overwhelming, where I felt like the most discouraged, the most vexed, the most where I felt the most pressure, blessings to you, was in talking to the guy of the whatever this mortgage company is. Y'all, he was so rude to me. It was so demonic that like I had to like stop this guy and say, the hood came out for just a second. And I had to literally tell this guy, I said, don't talk to me like that. Don't be rude to me, sir. Don't do that now. Don't do that. Don't be nasty. I'm not. I said, sir, you are offending me. That's what you're doing. The way that you're talking to me, it is offensive. And he kind of calmed down a little bit after that. But even then, I just knew like, this is not the place for me. This is not the place. Like, not the place. And so I'm back to square one. I'm still waiting on one lender to hit me back. I'm still waiting on the bank, right? And I just felt like for a second, y'all, he was so rude. I said, well, I have this is the type of loan that I have. It's a government loan, FHA loan. God said to share that. I'm like, I have down payment assistance. Well, FHA don't do down payment assistance. I'm like, oh my God, sir. That was when I had to tell him, listen, sir, you try me. I know I'm being nice. I'm being very professional, but don't try me. Don't talk to me crazy. Don't do that. don't don't talk to me crazy now. Pretty much they didn't want to accept the down payment assistance that I've already been approved for. So I said, listen, if you're not going to accept the down payment assistance that I've already, and even then, even down to the credit score, my credit score is decent, but they wanted to use like the lowest credit score that I had. And I'm just like, this makes absolutely no sense. Like, that ain't what it said online when I did this application online. Like, that's not what it said. I know my realtor referred y'all to me and y'all are calling me, but I literally 5 minutes ago, I did this application online. So why is it saying two different things? The application said my score. Now you're telling me something different. So I was over it. Listen, y'all, I was over it. At this point, I'm like, I almost had a moment. I don't know if y'all have ever like had a moment where it's just so much warfare that for a split second you almost be like, you know what, the devil can have this house. He can have it. He can have that. He can just have whatever it is. He can just have it because I'm tired. I'm fed up. Anybody ever felt that way? I was fed up. I was fed up. And I'm being transparent, so don't think that I'm speaking word curses, but in that moment, like, this is how I felt. Like, God, at every single juncture, the enemy like is attacking me. The day I cleaned out my bathroom, which was like the final room apart from like my cleaning supplies in my kitchen that I gotta clean out. I said, the day that happened, the bank calls and says there's an issue. Now the day that I've packed, I'm 90% done packing. All of my paintings are off the wall. Boom. It's another issue. Now y'all are saying y'all cannot find my amended tax return. And so, I got to a point where, and I was frustrated. How I know I was frustrated when I worked out, because I was talking to this guy at the gym, and I didn't even listen to music. I didn't have no headphones in my ears. I had nothing in it. That is never the case with me, right? But I had a moment where I'm just like, Lord, every single time I do what you tell me to do, something else happens. I'm like, Lord, do you not see that, like, I have, like, I'm supposed to be closing next weekend, right? Next Friday, I believe it is. I'm like, not only that, but God, do you not know that like my lease literally ends? Like, you had me tell them I'm not, renewing this lease. I gotta be out of here May 8th. I'm down to literally one option. Unless you fix the glitch in the system where they can actually find my amended tax return where it ain't saying page not found, we got an issue. And I had a moment of just wanting to quit and throw in the towel. And so, as I got home and just kind of just settled in, I began to kind of spend time with God. And want to know what the Lord told me? Because I'm like, Lord, what do I do? Anybody ever had a situation where you like, God, what do I do? Like, because every single time I do what you tell me to do, boom, something else happens. I do what you tell me to do, boom, something. God, my faith is already being tested. My faith is already being tested. This is already a lot on me. I don't have no help, God. Besides you, I'm the one that got to pack. I got 3 dogs I got to take care of. I have other things. I have so much on me. So much on me. So as I'm kind of just talking to God about that, because I'm like, Lord, where am I going to go? I got 3 dogs. I got all this furniture, all this stuff. Where am I going? What do you want me to do? Because every single time I do what you tell me to do, an attack comes. You know what the Lord told me? He said, just keep going. And I know a lot of times when we feel that way, because I'm going to be real, when God told me just keep going, I ain't want to hear that. You ever had God tell you something and you know that God is being honest, like he's being soft in his delivery of it, but you like, I don't want to hear that, Lord. I don't want. Do you not see how hard this situation is? Do you not see how all these people are opposing me? Do you not see how the devil is attacking this thing? Do you not see? And you're gonna tell me just keep going? Listen, we don't be trying to hear just keep going, because our mindset, at least my mindset, was like, I'm not trying to keep going through anything else, Lord. I ain't trying to go through anything else. But the Lord told me, he said, what other option do you have? What other option you have? What other option do you have? Because I'm like, and that made perfect sense when he said that, because I'm like, God, I'm in a position where I can't not move. I can't stop doing what you're telling me. I cannot stop. I can't stop packing. And the Lord said, just keep going. Because you all out of options. Quitting is not an option. And I remember earlier today, like when the realtor called me, and I just felt like, anybody ever had something shock you so much, or had something like disgruntle you to such a degree where it feel like you can't breathe, whether it's somebody saying some mean and hurtful things to you that you didn't expect, whether it's an unexpected bill come through, whether you don't get you don't get the exciting news that you thought you were going to get. Come on, somebody. You ever had something happen and you just be like, I cannot breathe? This was me earlier today. And I'll never forget, like, when the realtor, after I got off the phone, I couldn't breathe. I felt like I couldn't breathe. But you want to know the worst? And I know this was the Holy Spirit. I sat down and I said, Lord, you see these weapons prosper. You see them trying to prosper. I had to have a moment where I reminded God, like, Lord, your word says no weapon formed prospers, right? And it's like in that moment, I understood that, the devil wants me to feel like I don't have nobody. Like even God is not on my side. I believe to a certain degree, those of you guys that follow this ministry, to a certain degree, you have those moments. You're right at that place where you understand. The only person that has ever really rocked with you has been God. You've been lied on. Come on, people have said hurtful things. They've said hateful things to you. People have slammed doors shut. People have watched you struggle knowing that they could have helped you. Come on, people have chosen not to open doors for you. Everybody on here has had that happen to them. And most of us are in that season where it's like, Lord, all I got is you. And so for a minute, I'm like, God, I understand that the devil wants me to feel like even you're going to leave me, even you're going to leave me hanging. And in that moment, I said, Lord, but that's not what you do. You don't leave nor forsake. And it's like, even now, God is leading me back to that moment. And Lord, I hear him saying, even now, the key to like being able to move forward after a setback, after frustrating news, after disappointing news, the key to like moving forward is to remember who God is to remind yourself of his word. And for some people, that's the issue. Because when things happen, you ain't going back to what the Bible said about that situation. That was the first thing I did, was say, Lord, you see this weapon trying to form, but your word says it won't prosper. God, I can't count on nobody else but you. So you're going to have to do this. But that in itself is the key to moving forward. And I'm going to be real with y'all. My faith has been tested. It has been. But it's never been tested to this degree. God says, I need to say that. Like, my faith has been tested, but it ain't never been tested to this degree. He says, I need to say that again. My faith has been tested now. Over all these years of walking with God, living by faith, I've had some moments, some unsure moments, but I've never been in the predicament of my faith being tested like it is right now. And so my emotional responses have been different. They have not been as they were in the past, but the struggle has been real for Apostle T. I'm just being transparent. It has been. I'm like, Lord, this is one more thing. One more thing. And it's crazy how, like, when you let God like in on like how you feel, what you're going through, he begins to show you like previous moments where maybe you went through something similar and he came through. Because the first thing when I got home that God led me to thinking about, he said, did this not happen with your Audie? I said, what you mean, Lord? He said, right when you were getting that Audie, the bank needed they needed, proof that you were settling the debt that you had. He said, do you not remember that when it came to your student loans, the people that your student loans had been sold to, they could not find you in the system. And he said, do you not remember your bank was giving you all these other options? Well, we can just wait until we can just wait until, maybe another car pop up. I was getting pressure from the car salesman saying, listen, I got some other people looking at this car. Do you not know that same day it popped up in the system? Literally, I called one more time and they said, oh yeah, it just popped up in the system. And it's like at that point, the bank was able to move forward. Like, my hope, and I'm being transparent, is that it's the same thing with my bank. That it is just a simple glitch in the system that will be resolved. That is all I can hope for. And I think in moments like that, like, I know we are tempted to lose hope when we're disappointed, when we're frustrated, when we feel set back. But like, I'm grateful for those moments where God does give me hope, where God does say, hey, remember this is a similar situation that's happened before. The glitch in the system where they couldn't find your account, right? It's so odd that how does the IRS tell me that they received my amended tax return, but the bank is saying, oh, it's an error. It keeps saying page not found. What do you mean page not found? It's the oddest thing ever. It's not that y'all don't want to look at the amended tax return, that y'all may not, right? But I just don't believe it. I'm like, it's odd. It's odd. So that's kind of where I am. That's how I am continuing on my journey. Do I know how this is gonna play out? I do know that I won't be homeless. But do I know the how? Honestly, at this point, I don't care. I don't care about the how. Yeah. That's pretty much what my banker told me. She said, it keeps saying page not found, meaning it has not. She says it may be that it hasn't posted yet. Well, I sent her the email. Listen, it said that they accepted it. That same day I did it, they accepted it. So maybe it may be that you need like one more day before it actually shows in the system. Right? And so, that's kind of where I am. Clinging for hope. I don't care about the specifics of it. And I think that's the point where you really know that you're ready for a miracle. It's when you don't even care how God does it. Like, that's how you know that like you're ready and like that you're close. to what God has for you, when you be like, God, I don't care how you do it. Yes, I had my own thoughts previously as to how I wanted this thing to play out. But when you get to that point where you like, God, I don't care how you do it. I'm like, God, I don't care who the loan gets serviced through as long as I get it. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care how you do it as long as it gets done. That's how you know you're ready. When you have no expectations of the how. And so it's like, that's kind of where I am right now. And so that is the update that has been what my afternoon has been. And it's so crazy that it's like when you're being tested, the enemy will try to activate people around you, whoever he can use, because even as I'm going through this, like my mom is calling me, other people are calling me, and I'm just like, I cannot answer right now. I cannot talk right now. And so that's it, y'all. That's it. That is where I am right now. And I believe that God needed me to share that because this is a faith journey. This absolutely is a faith journey. I've never been stretched to this capacity. I've never felt, even the uncertainty that I have felt these last few weeks, like, and so close. Like, I was supposed to close in 10 days. 10 days. That's a little bit over a week. It ain't even a week and a half. That's a little bit over a week. So I say all that to say, man, if you can keep pushing, if I can keep pushing, so can you. If I can keep pushing, like, so can you. And all I reminded myself of is like, Lord, I got 3 dogs. I can't not have somewhere to go. I don't have anywhere else to go. And so in moments like that, you cling on to any amount of hope. And honestly, like, that's what I've done at every single juncture of God shifting my seasons. Like in the wilderness, that was what I did. That was how I got out of that season. I didn't have the money, like, to move the day that I moved. I didn't have that money when I woke up November 13, 2017. I didn't have that money. I didn't have that rent money. But by the end of the day, I did. But that entire day, I chose to cling on to hope. I chose to cling on to the fact, like, God, you didn't finally gave me a yes. Ain't no going back now. You got to do this thing. And so I believe that I'm not the only person, like, dealing with a God, you got to do it type of situation. And so in moments like that, the key is to remind yourself of how far you've come. I'm like, God, like, I could have gotten that other house, but you've blocked so many things, and I got so far. I'm at the last phase, the appraisal. And then pretty much after that, like, it is it's a done deal. And so it's like when you get so close, it almost becomes impossible to turn back. I'll say that again. When you know that you're getting so close, when you know that you're so close, that God has let you get closer to whatever it is that you believe in Him for, like, this is the closest you've ever been to it. Like, it becomes impossible to turn back. That's what some of y'all are right now. Some of y'all are entering into things, and this is really the closest that you've gotten to what God has promised you. He not like, listen, He don't do us like man. He is definitely not like the devil. He don't tease us. He don't tease us. I'm gonna say that again. God is not He don't tease us. Listen, if His no is a no, it's a straight up no. He ain't gonna make you feel like it's a yes, and then right when you at it, move. Come on, he don't do that. And so it's like, for me, that gives me all the hope and encouragement that I need to keep going. I'm like, Lord, you have to do this. You have to do this. I pray that I'm making sense, because again, it gets to the point where, you just realize I'm closer now than I've ever been before. Right? And this may be something that is financially. This may be something that is relationally. Whatever the case may be. Right? Why would God have allowed it to happen if it wasn't for you? Why would he let you get so close and not give it to you? Well, I don't know why I'm here to tell you this, Joy Speaks. Why would God have allowed you to get married if that wasn't in his will? I hear the word regret and doubt. I don't know why I hear that. I hear the words regret and doubt. And it's not because, the doubt is from you. It stems from other people. It stems from other people. Why would God have allowed that to happen if it wasn't in his plan, if it wasn't in his will, if it wasn't his promise to you? Why? And so that's just it, man. God didn't bring us this far just to bring us this far. Some of y'all need to just let that sink in, let that marinate, let it sizzle a little bit. He didn't bring you this far just to bring you this far. God, it's just like how I know God didn't tell me to do all this stuff and only to leave me hanging. God ain't let you come this far just to come this far. And so that's it. That is it. That is it, y'all. That's it. That was what God wanted me to release. And so that's the update so far. I do ask that you guys, that feel led to pray the will of the Father over my housing situation. I do ask that you guys lift me up in prayer. As God leads you, as the Holy Spirit leads you. Right now, that is all that I can ask for from anybody. It's just simple prayer. Just prayer. Just prayer for my strength, prayer for my sanity, prayer for clarity, and prayer for favor. Prayer for whatever the opposition is to just literally release. That's it. And so that's the broadcast. I appreciate those of you guys that do pray. I do appreciate those of you guys that are praying. I definitely do. And so that is where we are right now. Several of you guys need to sow a faith seed into this word because this was a faith seed sown into you. Simply put, like some of y'all literally need to put a faith seed in the ground, even if it is not much, simply because this was a faith seed sown into you. I'm not sure how it encouraged y'all, but I pray it did. I pray that it gave you whatever it was that you needed to keep going. I appreciate you guys too. And so that is it. There are two ways for you guys to sow. You can sow via PayPal or you can sow via the Cash App. At this moment, I need to get another small box. That is the last box that I will need to finish packing. And I want to say those boxes are maybe like $3 because I need a heavy duty box, one that ain't gonna break. But that is kind of what I need right now. I'm not gonna stop packing because I need to pack. So tomorrow for me will be a cleaning day of me just going through deep cleaning on a different level. But right now that is what I need at the moment. It's just to be able to get another box so that I can finish the last of the packing. And so that's it, y'all. Have food, have a little bit of gas in my tank, but that's my only need at this moment is to get my last box so that I can finish everything up. And so again, yes, Visha, thank you. To those of you guys that need prayer or have testimonies, you guys can send prayer requests and testimonies to prayer.thoughtsbyt at gmail.com. Yes, right now I just need a box. I think the box is like $3. I've had to get so many boxes. But right now, that is literally my only goal is just to be able to get the last box that I need and go forward from there. So that's it. If you're just sowing seed into that goal, you can just label it paid in full. Honestly, one person alone could sow that. One person alone could literally take care of that. Whether or not you choose to sow, though, it's on you. It will never dictate how I flow. Even me sharing my revelations, I think I've gotten to the point of understanding that my assignment is my assignment and it's not really up to me to make people engage or make people do what God asked them to do. It's just my goal is to pour. And so that is it. I love y'all though. I'm rooting for you guys. And so until next time, y'all. Peace.